constantly roasting everybody, I mean, if that's what you're gonna do, then of course people are gonna want to see you do that.
Yeah, and that's why, I don't know if you've seen, he's getting a lot of flack because of one of his last appearances on Kill Tony. He basically bombed. Like, he tried to roast a dude roasted him back. He didn't say anything.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not like that hasn't happened before, though. Like, that's a common thing that people criticize Kill Tony for is, oh, Tony, you bring on all these regulars, and these regulars bomb, and you're nice to them anyway. Yeah. And one thing I heard, just yesterday, actually, it was on Joe Rogan's podcast with, who are those two guys? Louis J. Gomez and Big J. Okerson. It was those two. And they were talking about, how the early days of Kill Tony, because I think it was Louis J. Gomez. He said he's been the featured person on the show probably the most times, like around 20 or 30, like since they were way back in the day in the Belly Room.
At the Comedy Store and shit?
Yeah, and just that they used to be way meaner. Like, it used to be so mean, and now it's kind of supportive. And it's you're still roasting them, but overall it's supportive. And I think that's definitely true. I never really thought about that until he said that, because it did. And the earliest days are probably the meanest. But I remember the show being meaner even probably a couple of years ago. I feel like they were a lot meaner. Like, I remember they used to just straight up make, like, I used to get kind of feel bad for the comics when I watched it.
Yeah, for
they're
sure.
They're just calling her fat. That's all they're doing.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not really an interview. It's more so like and you know, you do your little minute joke, and then it's like they roast you afterwards.
I don't think they are that mean anymore, but it's still like.
Did you see that? There was a super viral. Like, I think the video itself has like 500K views on YouTube, and it was like some of the worst sets on Kill Tony and Stephanie Robertson.
Oh no, it's got like over 1 million.
Yeah, so you know
that
what I'm
was.
Did you see that?
It could, well,
this is no shot at Stephanie Robertson, a huge fan.
We were talking beforehand about how, like, I was doing roast battle and all this.
Yeah.
She's back in town, and she was at the last roast battle.
Yeah.
So she was one of the hosts, and I have to diss her. So of course I have to bring that up.
Yeah, of course.
So, oh man, where did I just set my notebook right before this? I just had my notebook out in this room. Do you see where I put it?
Are you sitting on it?
Am I?
No, you're not. Oh god.
No, hold on, folks. Here. Fill in the silence for 30 seconds. I know you. You can do this.
Okay, sounds good. How's it going, y'all? My name is Melvin Stewart. I'm a comedian from the north side of Chicago. I fuck bitches and get money.
Wow, I only gave you 10 seconds, 8 seconds, but somehow you did the best you could possibly do.
Exactly.
So it was this ain't Kill Tony, but stay with me. Stephanie going nuclear on the lame 60. Is she a terrorist in conversation? I realized to recognize her face from bombing compilations.
Oh yeah, I'm dead. Yeah. That's dope, bro.
I figured that was. I really like that. Is she a terrorist? I know her from bombing compilations.
Yeah, she was in that video, and I remember when I first saw it, I was like I said, this was last year. I was doing Roast Battle Heavy at that time, and I talked to her about it. I'm like, bro, why they do you like that? Like, well, like I feel
honestly, I think they liked her. I think when you watch it back, Tim Dillon said he would be there the next time she comes on.
Yeah.
And they gave her probably more time than anybody.
They gave her an opportunity.
That's the whole thing about it, is they gave her. The interview was long.
Yeah.
They did not have to do that.
Yeah.
And I would not say that it felt like he was doing that to torture her.
Yeah, I mean,
I felt like he was feeling her out and he liked her, because it's just like it's a very weird thing for anyone to do, to try to do a set in 60 seconds.
Yeah,
I think I saw her on another podcast saying that, like, she wasn't actually expecting to go up, and then they called her name last minute, so that was the type of thing it was.
She just wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm genuinely on the Bill Burr side. Like, you know, I don't know if you remember, like, there's an old clip of Bill Burr on Kill Tony, basically, like, you can't expect fucking comedians to be funny in 60 seconds. And there are plenty of successful comedians from Kill Tony, and I'm not taking anything away from them. But like I said, I am on the Bill Burr side, where I don't
think he's ever been back on the show. That was like the early days of Kill Tony.
Exactly. And I agree with him, where I'm like, just because you aren't funny in 60 seconds does not mean you're not a good comedian.
Exactly. It's just what I always try to, like, ask people when it comes to that is, because Kill Tony's so successful, so it's like, how could you possibly do it better? Because it is kind of an open mic format.
That's exactly what it is. You know, with the regulars mixed in, and even open mics in Chicago will do that. They'll have an open mic, but then they'll have featured performers throughout the open mic. And, the only thing they kind of add on is the whole, like, little interview part. Like, I really wouldn't call it a podcast because, like, it's more like just an...
oh, that drives me nuts that they call it.
They call it a podcast.
It's one of the most popular podcasts of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if in the... I mean, it really pushes what you would consider a podcast,
It's not a podcast.
It's not at all.
If you're roasting someone's appearance and I can't see you, I just don't even understand. At that point, it's a stage show. It's a show that people go to.
It's a show that you have to watch. Like, you can't listen to Kill Tony.
It's just, I think they just call it that for marketing.
I think they do too, and maybe that's how it started off at one point. But yeah, I don't know. Like,
it's whatever. I just don't like that. That triggers me when they call it a podcast. I'm like, no, it is not. Like, it is not a podcast. Stop saying that.
Yeah, and it's
but it's probably just a marketing thing. It's like, it sounds better if you say it's a podcast, because then it's like, ooh, it's one of the most popular podcasts, one of the most listened to, and people do listen to it on streaming services.
Yes,
that's
of course.
not untrue. I just don't think that's the way you should be watching.
Yeah, that's not the proper format. You know what I mean? Like, just like in some cases, like I would say, depending on what stand-up comedian you're listening to, you also, your favorite stand-up comedian will definitely release their album on streaming. Their special as an album on streaming. Yeah. Depending on the comedian and how their style is, you probably shouldn't listen to it. You probably just
I
watch
wonder
it.
if he's humping the stool right now.
Yeah, the only person that does it is Joe Rogan.
Oh man, he is a stool humper.
He is a stool humper, and comedians hate that shit. Like veteran comics, there's so many like older veteran comics that have made comments about that. Like,
why?
Because it's just like one of those things where they consider it such an amateur move. You know what I mean? Where it's like one of those things where it's something...
to be so physical?
Yeah, it's not even about being physical. It's just for some reason, like, taking, humping the stool to an extreme. I forgot the name. I was watching this, because I'm on that side of fucking YouTube where the people are just like, Joe Rogan's a bad comedian.
See, what drives me nuts about that side of YouTube is it's a whole bunch of people who don't do anything themselves.
Agreed.
Who just want to talk shit about comics, and to the point where they get ads on their videos. It's like a hate pool. Yeah. And this is the thing you'll learn about the comedy community, or I think it's more so the comedy community than other places for some reason. Yeah. I can't figure out why. But Brendan Schaub is like exhibit A. Just look at how much the internet turned on Brendan Schaub. Do you know anything about the hate train for Brendan Schaub?
Of course. I'm fully invested in the hate train.
I'm sure if you know about this side of YouTube, you know all about.
And I agree.
Gringo Poppy.
Yes, I know about Gringo Poppy. I know about The One. Wasn't that his first special? I think that's what it was called.
I actually don't even know about that.
Yeah, the Showtime one. Yeah, I'm fully on that side, and I understand. And I agree with you too. Though I agree, it is a bunch of people who don't actually do comedy trying to give their opinions, and that's the worst thing ever.
Mm-hmm. People who don't even. They haven't even been to a comedy show.
Yeah,
they haven't even talked to a comedian before.
And also, it's like one of those things where, like, just because you briefly did comedy and you may have bombed before does not automatically mean you should have a voice in comedy.
Yeah, there's a couple I could like call out right now. There's one, Too Lazy to Try, if you've seen that.
I've seen that guy.
That guy, he's always got the guy from Seinfeld on it, George from Seinfeld.
Have you ever heard of podcast cringe?
Yeah,
I like podcast cringe, but at the same time, as a comedian and a performer, I'm like, as a motherfucker who's never done comedy, your opinion should not be this strong.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, you're entitled to your opinion, but like, you shouldn't be so passionate about pushing out all this hate.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because
it's like there's no silver lining. They're never like, oh, I like this. That's why it drives me nuts, because it seems so... Like, then there's a narrative. Like, now I know, oh, you have like a thing that you're pushing, and it's like the idea of everything sucks. Basically, everything sucks.
Yeah,
it's like this comedy nihilistic.
It's something you can never take away, and people try to make it like, and some of this side of like comedy like critiques try to make it seem like it's a bad thing that Joe Rogan moved to Austin and opened his own comedy club that is now super successful. Like, they make that seem like that's
Joe
a problem.
Rogan and all his comedy friends.
Yeah, and like
because they make it seem like a clique. That's the narrative from those guys. It's a clique, and if you're friends with Joe Rogan, then that's the only way you can be famous. Like, that's how, from those people's perspective. If you were to be the hater, this is obviously what you would say. You'd say Joe Rogan is like the gatekeeper of the comedy world, and him moving to Austin. Obviously, there's truth to some of these things.
It's true, but
if you're Joe Rogan, what are you supposed to do?
Exactly, and that's the thing where it's like, who cares if you don't like his Netflix special? You can't take anything away from the fact that he got a Netflix special.
Of course, and that's just like a lesson of life.
Yes, exactly.
You should not be a hater in general. Just stop being a hater.
Yeah, just stop fucking hating. You know,
because that's why those channels drive me nuts. nuts. They're only hating. Like, if you were to just say, like, have 5 minutes where you're just nice, and then I'm like, oh wait, maybe
yeah, like maybe I would be genuinely surprised to see that, but you don't, you know.
And it's always like, this was the worst episode of Joe Rogan.
And I mean, they can critique the podcast all they want, but
I just watched the one about Guy Fieri. I just saw they made a video about his episode with Guy Fieri, because I didn't watch the episode, but I did watch the videos. Just like, I was thinking maybe it'll be like a little recap, but basically it was just talking about how like Joe Rogan like steamrolled over Guy Fieri and like made Guy Fieri feel awkward. And like, when you watch the episode, most of it's not quite like that. I mean, maybe a little bit. This is the thing, is like, people develop opinions about like, if you're Joe Rogan and you're talking with someone for an hour, you're not thinking about what the internet's going to say. And then the internet's going to say a million things about it. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Say somebody's a little bit awkward. Say someone comes in here, I invite them over, and they're just a little bit awkward. Like, they, you know, and maybe they just have something going on that day. Maybe there's a million reasons someone might act awkward.
Yeah, for sure.
But the internet then, like, takes that and turns that into, like, wow, this person, like, must have hated him, or blah, blah, blah. And that's exactly how that stuff goes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just too much attention on something that is not important.
Not important at all, you know what I mean?
It's a conversation between two people. We don't need to, like, hate analyze this and talk about how shitty they both are.
Now,
it's not worth it.
I think I don't completely agree with that. Like, I think when I
mean, there's bad ones.
There's a lot of bad ones, but like when you know, when Joe Rogan is platforming people who are openly spreading misinformation.
Yeah.
You know, when he, you know,
who are your like top 5 worst Rogan guests? Do you have some?
I don't even have a top 5. Anytime Elon Musk has come on.
Oh, you don't like those ones?
No, because it was funny the first time he came on.
The first one was funny. I saw it live. That was back when it was live on YouTube. I remember walking around my mom's house seeing Elon Musk light up or hit that joint, going, like, I knew it was gonna be.
Yeah, but like, so like.
Anyway,
I was one of those people where I got into the Joe Rogan podcast super late. Like,
oh, really?
And like, I got into the podcast
late,
when he,
meaning
like 2021 or something like that.
Okay.
Like, when he was still interviewing, back before he was just openly conservative, right wing, like talking mouthpiece.
Yeah.
Back before then, when he was mostly just interviewing comedians still, you know. I used to watch a lot of the comedian interviews. Like, some of.
When did he have Bernie on?
He had Bernie on, like, I think in like 2020 or something like that. Like,
because that was the very beginning of politicians going on podcasts. That was the first one.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Bernie. So I don't really, I don't really have ones that I hate, because it's just like so off of my radar now. Because at this point, aside from the comedy aspect of Joe Rogan, like I've heard that he's starting to like shift his views a little bit.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's just like a wealthy conservative white man just like spouting misinformation, I just can't fuck with anything he does. I'll still listen sometimes. Like, if I see he interviews like a comedian that I like I know like last year he had Ali Sadiq back on his podcast.
Oh, okay.
Ali Sadiq is one of my favorite comedians ever.
Yeah.
So like, I like to see him talk, even if it's not comedy. You know, I like to see him talk. So I will watch that stuff. But like anything else, I'm like super far removed. Like the episode with him and Donald Trump was terrible, because it was like him just like, you know, like glazing Donald Trump the whole fucking interview.
Well, see, this is the thing. This is how I feel about, like, it's kind of a weird thing, because he's not really a politics person. And so
he is a politics person, bro.
No, but I mean, like, what he's always done, it'd be like if I were to have a politician in here right now, I would probably try to talk to them the same way I'm talking to you, just because I would want to have the same effect on them to get that same personality. Like, at a certain point, you do get someone to be themselves if you just open up enough yourself. And I think, like, the problem is he doesn't agree with everything this guy is saying, but you can't be too confrontational if you want someone to actually reveal things. It's kind of like you're playing a game of chess.
I don't think he's that.
You don't think that's what's happening?
I don't think he's that calculated. Honestly, like they've shown several instances of like, you know, Joe Rogan just not understanding basic comedy. Like, people try to joke with him, and he's just like, what?
Again, that's like one of the comedy hate circles.
It is,
but no, I know, but that's like that's one of like the pinnacle. That's probably like one of the if they had a Bible, that
would be the first commandment. Joe Rogan does not understand comedy.
Doesn't get comedy at all. They think he's the worst comedian, and he doesn't understand comedy.
But that is true to an extent.
Yeah, haters.
Don't be a hater, but like, you know what I mean. Don't like overly do it, but it is true to an extent. You know what I mean?
Because a lot of the jokes do, but again, I think it's a tough thing, because I can sort of see from his side, if he's trying to do a podcast, and this is probably just him talking to people. It's probably like, because I've observed, I'm not really a comedian. I mean, I talk to comics all the time, but I'm not a comedian.
Yeah.
But I've sort of absorbed it but I'm not them, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've caught myself. I'm like, oh, I'm trying to think of jokes about this dead person right now. I've talked to too many comics.
Yeah, you've been around too many comedians. Oh yeah.
But I was gonna say, like, what he's trying to do, like the aim of his show is always to have a long conversation where we get at something. And so if someone's like throwing in zingers, he does miss jokes sometimes. But say if I'm like saying something to you and then you say a joke back, I almost have to kind of like ignore your joke to keep going where I'm trying to go.
No, for sure.
And I think that's something he does that the internet then interprets as Joe Rogan doesn't get any jokes.
Yeah.
But really, he's just trying to stay focused. That's my theory on that. But I could be 100% wrong. Because if you watch Protect Our Parks, like the recent ones with that.
I've never seen it.
Oh, I mean, honestly,
I know what it is, but
if you
I've
were
never
to
seen
go
it.
back to Rogan, that's not a bad way to go back just because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Especially if you watch the right, like he's not drinking right now. So the last one they did was not so off the rails. But like they've done whippets on Protect Our Parks. They've done some crazy things.
That's just wild, man. Like, it's crazy, like how you know, like how deep the podcast space has gotten. You know what I mean? In terms of like what people
are
do.
having sex on porn webs. Like they'll do a podcast and then have sex.
Oh yeah, Plug Talk. Oh yeah, I know that one. I used to be a big No Jumper fan before they went all fucked up.
Yeah.
So like I remember when Plug Talk started, and I'm like, that's an insane idea. But as a man, I'm like, I'm kind of jealous. Like, you know, like
it's crazy. I don't know if I would want to do that. I would maybe want to be there for it, just to like have that on my like resume or something. But I don't know if I want to be the one having sex.
Oh no, like if you're there, I would only want to be there if they're paying me to fuck. Like why else? Because they post the videos on YouTube. I mean, on YouTube.
I think it'd be really funny to be not the interviewer, but the second person in the room, just kind of awkwardly sitting around.
You're the fucking sound manager and shit like that.
No, but on camera.
Oh, on camera.
So
gotcha.
like I'm the whole time I'm just kind of nodding along.
Yeah, but you would. I don't know. Like
what a cameo that would be.
That would be great. But
that's
like,
my vision.
They'd expect you to fuck.
You want to fuck? See, yeah, they would try to get me to fuck. I'd be like, I'd have like a fake ring. Come with a fake ring.
You wouldn't go on if you had a ring. See, that's the thing. You wouldn't even get there. You couldn't even get out of the fucking.
Maybe like trick them right when they're about to film. Bust on the ring.
Bust on the ring. You know what? I'm actually committed and married to a man.
Yeah.
I don't turn gay. Yeah. I don't want to fuck this beautiful woman right here who's openly willing to fuck. Like,
that would be wild. They're mid fucking, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm gay.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, actually, I've realized something. I'm gay. Like, you're beautiful.
I had to come to Jesus moment as I watched this happen.
Yeah, like you're mid inside, and you just go flat, and you're just like, fuck it. Actually, I realized I like men. I had a crush on Peter in 5th grade. Yeah. I'm gonna call him now. You know,
Shout
type
out
of shit.
Peter.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. I'll offer it to you. Me and Chase Richard, a couple episodes ago, we discovered a brand new segment for this show.
Okay.
You can do it if you'd like. It's something we can throw around. It was very fun the last time. I feel like you'd be good for it.
Okay.
The prank call section. Now, if you have a certain number you think we could call, that would be perfect. Or we can just call a company anywhere around the world, maybe like a pizza place, maybe like an ice cream place, maybe anything.
We can try it. I don't have any numbers to call, honestly. My circle's super small. Like, if you like a number that I call that'll answer, it would. I have like 3 or 4 people I could list.
And Christian? You think Christian would
call
answer?
Christian, yeah, he might answer.
Well, we'd have to be a prank call.
But he knows my number, though, you
Call him
know.
off my phone.
Okay, sure, let's do it.
But what would we say to him? What would be a good prank to call Christian with?
Let's see. I don't know.
That's the question.
What would be a good prank? So we found, like, you know, have you ever seen those pages on Instagram and TikTok where, like, you'll post, like, for comedians, you'll post a video and they'll be like, hey, we'd love to book you for our corporate event. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, and they'll even be like in the message, in the comment, they'll be like, we're looking to pay you $3,500 for 20 minutes. And it's always like the most complete bullshit.
Oh, so maybe something like that.
Yeah, maybe something like that. Like, I don't.
Hi, Christian. We saw your posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
We see you have a significant following, and we're thinking about maybe booking you for a show. A couple months out from now, it's going to be in LA. We're going to pay you about $100K for 80 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just maybe make the number a little bit lower so that like
50K. 50K, 80 minutes.
Yeah.
20K, you'd probably do it for 20.
Yeah, probably.
He'd be like 20,000.
Yeah, I'll give you his number if you want to call him.
All right, let me grab my phone. It's over there.
Okay.
This is high-level comedy, folks.
High-level comedy, yo. This radio shit.
Last time we called some businesses, so this is exciting for me. We're calling a comedian. This is fun. This is fun. And also for the people that don't know, you and Christian work together.
Yeah,
tell them real quick before we do this.
Christian's a good friend of mine, and we've teamed up over the last few months to like start bringing headlining shows to the nation. Really, like.
And you guys are close.
Our first show was in April at the Red Room Comedy Club. It was a pretty good show. We had a solid turnout. Everybody did good.
Yeah.
We did a private event in May. It was another really good thing. In July, we're doing the show at the Bug House, which is, and we're really trying to push like that to randoms. The first show was like friends and family. The private event was already filled by like people for the party that we were performing at.
And the next one.
We're really trying to push to like people who don't know us. Yeah,
That's you.
That's you who may randomly stumble upon this podcast.
Yeah. And then all the other ones to come. They're going to do a world tour one day, folks. And then one day, you're going to see this guy on a billboard. As you're driving down the highway, you're going to see his face. You're going to be like, God damn, he's like Kevin Hardy's everywhere.
Exactly, yeah. We have a show in St. Louis in August. We're working on getting something in Atlanta in September. Maybe in 2026, I'm speaking it into existence. I've been talking to Underground Laugh Lounge, which is a comedy club in Niles, Michigan. It's a small club, but like they are interested in us, and but they don't have anything on the book. So like I can definitely maybe 2026, early 2026, we'll be out there headlining, doing our co-headlining show, making moves. But yeah,
Early 2026?
Early 2026.
That's not long from now.
Yeah, because they basically told me, I have a degree in business management, so I'll be fucking shooting these bookers emails and all types of shit, and I'm the one a lot of the times negotiating these deals with people. You know what I mean? So they were just like, yeah, we like what you're selling, but we don't really have anything. 'Cause I make it very clear, hey, we are two local Chicago comedians. We're kind of we're favorites in various rooms throughout the city, but I'm making it very clear, hey, we're not super famous. We're not looking for a full weekend. We're not looking for $800, just to perform. We're looking, we'll take a Thursday or a Sunday. We just want to get our feet in the door. And a lot of the times when you're that blunt with bookers, either they're completely turned off, or they understand and are willing to accept and they're willing to work with you because they're like, we see that you're making efforts to grow.
Really?
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, but you do have to have some credits before that though. You can't just be if my only credit was, hey, I used to be a roast battle regular, they wouldn't be interested in me at all. You know what I mean? You got to have a little bit more.
So that's because I was just about to ask you, if I was to approach somewhere and say, hey, I'm featured at Zany's twice a month or something like that, would that sound, oh, he's official, or is that not enough?
That's not enough, honestly,
really?
bro.
It's got to be more than that.
You got to have a little bit more than that, depending, especially if you're trying to get into bigger venues. If you're hey, I want you to trust me with your club for an hour and a half and to provide you and your people a good show.
Right.
You can't just be hey, I perform at Zany's regularly. That's not enough.
So maybe that, I get it. So build up a catalog of shows that you've already put together.
Yeah, some catalog of shows, maybe some rooms that you've gotten into that are usually difficult for people to get into. And I think something else that's super important too is becoming a regular on at some of these clubs. That's always a good little thing to be hey, I'm a regular at this club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sometimes twice a month isn't enough to be considered a regular.
What the fuck is a regular?
So there's a lot of guys for the Comedy Bar. I don't know. Shout out to the Comedy Bar. I perform about once a month. You know what I mean? At this point, I've gotten to a point where I'm there somewhat frequently. But
and the Comedy Bar is known as a good spot.
Yeah, Comedy Bar is known as a good spot. But there are people who are literally there every single week. You know what I mean? So there's levels to it.
Yeah.
But and that's just something that's important to push. Because I was doing the same thing. As soon as I started doing roast battle, I was applying to shows, and that was my first fucking credit. Hey, I'm a roast battle regular.
Yeah.
I performed at Zany's, Chicago and Rosemont for roast battle. It's not enough. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So yeah, that's what, so that's why we're out here pushing. And, that's why it's important to grow your list. It's good to say hey, you've opened for this person, this one. Recently though, if you opened for a headliner 2 years ago, unless it was fucking a massive headliner at a arena or a big theater, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
I think that's why podcasts are smart for comics too.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a way to like, hey, look, it's me and this person on camera talking together. Like if you can actually get a podcast going and then you work with some comic, you and him are friends. Like, because comics know comics. Like one thing I've learned is it is crazy the connections that random people have to each other.
Oh yeah, especially through comedy. Like,
just in life, you learn that.
Yeah. Like people, like like this person, especially if they're from Chicago, is the cousin of somebody you used to work with.
Because the comedy world
like,
is so connected. It's so much more connected than you think.
Yes, exactly.
Like in the city, it's connected, but then even like in the way that the city's connected to L.A. and New York, all these people that are like you don't realize it's like that until the deeper and deeper you get, and then it's like, holy shit, everyone does kind of just sort of know.
Everybody kind of knows everyone. If you don't know everyone, it's like 1 degree of separation where you're like, oh, like, if you know this guy knows fucking Joe Rogan.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's literally like that. Or like this guy is open for, I don't know. This guy,
you know what's crazy? Just the one that comes to mind right now is Peyton Ruddy just went to Austin and he did just open for Rogan. Yeah, I think it was Ron White and Friends maybe.
And he works at the Comedy Mothership. Shout out to Peyton Ruddy. You know
what
I mean?
It's
like,
just crazy. I mean, and that's to 1 degree of separation for most comics here that have worked with him. That's 1 degree of separation from, basically like, the most viewed comic there is.
Basically from fame, quote unquote. You know what I mean?
So it's not that. And that's why I say that, because podcasts, I mean, if you are close with people, you don't realize the connections you have. It's a great thing to utilize. And comics love to fucking bullshit and talk. Like, it just blows my mind. Every comic doesn't. It'd be a great outlet for them. They wouldn't have to go to therapy anymore.
No, you still need therapy. If you feel like you need a podcast to get your thoughts out, you need to go to fucking therapy.
That's a sign.
That's a sign. It's a 100% perfect sign that you need fucking therapy. No, but I can give you Christian's number so we can do this segment, which I think will be fun.
You think he'll recognize your voice?
Maybe. So I think I mean, I can try to sell something else. Like, let me know when you're ready.
Pull this thing up.
Can you I don't know, when you do the editing, you want me to show you his number or you want me to say it out loud?
Just show it to me.
Okay, because make it easier for you so you're not fucking...
I'm the worst editor. Well, I'm actually not the worst editor, but I hate editing.
Yeah, so you...
That's why I do this podcast with one camera angle and I try to cut as little as possible. That's why I had you fill in that silence earlier. I was like, I don't want to cut this. Let me just have him talk.
Yeah, that's fine. Easy peasy. Yeah.
All right, here we go. So I've got his number. It is 666-555-3333.
Yeah.
And here we go. I was trying to write down a couple things that might be like we need a character development just in case they ask some questions.
Okay, yeah. So you can be like
Harold Jensberg is our name.
Harold Jensberg. Okay.
And I was thinking we work with a certain A&R company, right?
Don't even say you can just make up a company.
And the company should. I shouldn't write.
Just say you could be like, hey, we run corporate events all over the country.
Corporate events all over the country. Okay.
And we love having comedians perform at these events. We pride ourselves on how well we pay. And then don't I think keep it grounded. Like, don't say a crazy number, but say a crazy number. Like, oh yeah, we'll pay you $5,000 if you can do 30 minutes or something like that. Do
you think $5,000 for 30 minutes is good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like it's a little bit outlandish, but like if you really know comedians, it's like people will get paid way more.
Yeah, and that would be like the starting point of like, whoa, this is a big gig. Like, I can't even believe I'm getting a gig like that's like
exactly.
He thinks it's a jumping off point.
Yeah, exactly. This could
corporate national. We're a corporate event. We do stuff nationally. We love having comedians. I was thinking like saying like we hope the pay's all right with you, like something.
Yeah.
Something like that where it's set it up to where he might be thinking it's going to be a low number.
Gotcha.
The pay's all right. Harold Jensberg, and the company we are is
how about Jensberg and Associates?
Oh, Jensberg and Associates.
Like it sounds like a law firm, but whatever.
Yep. Hi, is this Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, Christian. Hey, so hi. I just wanted to call you. I'm glad to get you. I got your number from a friend of mine. We want you to work a corporate event that we're doing. It's out here in L.A. We do stuff all over the country, but we're doing this one out in LA. We love having comics, and we hope the pay's all right with you. It's just it's gonna be about like 50 people, I think is what it is. And my name, did I tell you my name? Harold Jensberg. It's $5,000 for 30 minutes, if that's all right with you. Does that sound right?
Okay. Again, it's in LA, 50 people. What date?
It's gonna be about 4 months from now. We still haven't pinned down the date. We just wanted to get an answer from you first.
Okay, if you can like that on an email, like I done this before on the phone, and at the end, one of the ends doesn't add up, but 5 days for 50 people in LA sounds amazing. Now, do you cover like travel spaces? How does it work?
I think we can do travel. I haven't really spoke with my man in charge, but I think if I just talk with him, travel should probably be covered.
Yeah, we're willing to cover travel. We're also willing to pay you a deposit of half of the amount. So if you can just provide us with your bank information, we'll directly route it to you. How does that sound?
Yeah, I can send you that on an email. If that works, like, do I have to book the plane? Do you book it? Like, I would really like to know the month so I can like save that date.
Okay, absolutely. Well, we'll be in touch. I mean, do you think, because I was thinking about this and I thought it was a little crazy, but you might want to do it. You sound like the guy. Do you think maybe you could do an hour and a half for $20,000?
Whoa, 20,000. Hey, I don't think he's prepared for that.
No, I'll cover it.
You'll cover it? Okay.
I'll cover it.
See, that's what we do for comedians here.
Like, I believe you're the person. Yeah, I believe I can do an hour and a half. Like, it's gonna be Spanish, English, like.
The pay's okay though.
See, this guy is a triple threat here: Spanish, English, and dancing. I love this guy.
That's why we wanted you. We saw your videos on Instagram, I believe,
and YouTube. Yes. From Minnesota, you're special. It's amazing.
You're special.
Yeah, thank you. That's amazing. But yeah, like 4 months from now, I can do an hour and a half.
We really believe in you.
Sorry?
We believe in you.
If you can send me all of this in any,
I'm sorry?
if you can like send me, like send these to, like.
Okay, since we have your number, hey, shut up. I mean, sir, since we have your number, we will send you all the information you need. Just be on the lookout for it.
Well, send me I'm excited to do that.
We're very excited to have you. We think you're going to blow them away. Now, let me tell you, most of the room, they're going to be about 10 to 15 years old. Is that okay?
10 to 15. Okay. I'll have to do like clean material.
No, you don't have to do clean material, but their parents may not like if you don't do clean material. How about that?
Exactly. So I do have to do clean material.
No, you don't have to.
We don't want you to do clean material.
We actually, that's kind of the aim, is we want you to do dirty material in front of the kids.
We want you to scar these kids for life. You'll still get paid, but this event is, honestly, this is a birthday party.
It's going to go viral.
It's going to. This is a birthday party for a guy that cheated on what's called cheated on me with my wife. We'll still pay you.
It's good pay.
Money is all we have to offer.
Sir, are you there?
I think he's on to us.
Hello?
Hello, is this Christian, right?
Yeah, it's Christian.
Oh, I just didn't hear you for a moment. Are we cutting out? Oh, I think we're cutting out.
All right. We'll be in touch, bud. How about that?
We'll be in touch. Listen, just look out on your email for us. We've got your email. We've got your number. We've got your Instagram.
We got your address. We got your social security card. I mean, no, I'm joking. I always want to be a comedian.
Starting to sound more real. Okay, cool.
No, it's a joke. Thank you for your time.
All right. We love you.
I love you too.
Bye. That went pretty well.
Yeah, that was good.
That went way better than I could have expected.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. I think
he thinks it's happening.
yeah, like either
He's like, these guys have a good sense of humor.
Yes, exactly.
I'm surprised because you didn't even try to do a voice. So
I didn't either, but like I was thinking because you were talking, it
You
may have like
wouldn't-
offset it, like
I think
like-
you're right.
Yeah, like you're an unfamiliar voice. So me, my voice is a bit distinct, but at the same time, offset by you, like basically taking lead and me kind of like doing your ad libs. Like you were kind of off for pitching everything, and I'm kind of like, yeah, this is a great idea, brother. You need to do this. Like I think it kind of like hiding in plain sight type of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Superman is Clark Kent type of shit. You know what I mean?
You're looking this way, meanwhile over there.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's so funny that I'm surprised that $20K for an hour and a half didn't throw him off. He was like, really? Okay, yeah, I can do an hour and a half.
I'll do it however much you need. Yeah.
10 to 15 years old. He's like, some clean material, right?
No, not clean. Scar these children. Fuck them. Like,
it's gonna go viral.
Tell the story about the first time you interacted with some porn.
I actually think that would probably do numbers on social media if you set that up. With that kind of money, you probably could make it happen.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just get some raunchy comic.
Bro.
Get a bunch of parents. Make sure to tell the parents exactly what's going to happen. You don't want anybody to be upset because they've done stuff like that in Jackass movies and things like this, where it's like a bunch of
grandpa
kids
and shit like that, where it's like, like just subjecting this child to like
kids flipping people off, kids swearing. For some reason, all that stuff is so funny. I think kids seeing inappropriate things or doing semi-inappropriate things is very funny.
Yes,
seeing kids kick other kids in the balls is very funny.
I don't know if I agree with that one, but I agree.
It's just funny, like the dynamic of it. Like they're both 8.
It is. Yes, it is interesting seeing kids being like. Yeah, doing like raunchy things like that. Like my stepdaughter told me a story yesterday, coincidentally, about she was just like the first, and I knew it was bad because the first thing she said to me is, "Pinky, promise me you won't be mad." She's about to be 13, so she's still worried about my reaction. And she basically told me a story about how like this one kid from her class got her phone number and was just blowing up her phone. And like she couldn't take it anymore. This happened like in the fall, so like in the beginning of the school year. So she basically sent him a mess. She basically called him back and like left a voicemail and said, "Leave me the fuck alone, nigga." Ooh. My stepdaughter is half white and half Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
This little white girl just said that. Like, and to me, that was the funniest shit ever. Like, I'm like, did you? And my first question was not even like, why would you say that? My first question was, did you use nigger or nigga?
Had to be the A.
And she was like, oh, I know, I use it with the A, and I'm like, okay, we're good then. You're not in trouble.
Hard R would be wild.
Yeah.
In that situation. That's cold.
Yeah, my mom uses the hard R. I don't think my mom knows the difference between.
Mom, you gotta stop doing that, Mom.
I was telling my mom about a show that I had last week. I was on this. Shout out to Crack 'Em Up Comedy, but they ran this ghetto.
That's not far from. It's on the north side, right?
Yeah, they do it at Pork Chop over there by Old Devon and Sheridan, and it's
right near Loyola.
Yeah, right near Loyola University. I used to live over there. I went to Loyola University. So it's funny to see such a nigga-ass show in that area of Rogers Park. Well, it's like these Edgewater, but you know what I mean. Like,
I was thinking of reaching out to them and trying to weasel my way into that
you
one.
could probably get in there.
Seems like the type of thing I could figure out a way into.
Yeah, but like it's a nigga-ass show. Like, I'll be honest with you. Like,
just do a bunch of hip-hop.
You can do that too, you know what I mean? Like
if they let me, I'll just do a set.
Yeah, but it's a nigga-ass show. I'm going to tell you that. Like, well, it isn't necessarily a bad thing.
What do you mean by that?
Like, where do I go, man? So, have you ever been to a comedy show on the South Side? Like a local comedy show? So, like, typically, a nigga-ass show is for one, your host is doing 8 to 10 minutes in between each comedian. The host is usually the funniest person on the show.
Yeah.
And he gonna sit there and like take his time to butter up the crowd, so there's no way you could fucking follow him because he's just killed them for 10 minutes, just not even telling jokes, like just like reminiscing with the audience and be like, hey, y'all remember when Call Waiting was a thing, and like, really getting the crowd on his side, and then calls you up in the worst way possible, and like the show was also 3.5 hours long. Because of the host doing 10 minutes in between each comedian, and there were fucking 10 comedians on the lineup, and they had a headliner who did like 20 minutes. So it's like,
okay.
And it was just, when you come in, like, the fucking DJ is only playing like mid 2000s hip hop, like he's playing fucking Shoulder Lean and like and fucking like Stanky Leg and like all these like songs that's really supposed to get niggas moving.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And I
would like that actually.
Yeah, you would no matter what, as a rapper, I'm telling you, you would still be like, I don't think I belong here.
Sounds kind of like home, dude. Honestly, I'm from Flint, Michigan. That sounds more like what I remember, because I haven't spent too much time time on the South Side here. I really haven't. So
Yeah.
like with this show, I used to have way more rappers and stuff like that on. Like the energy of comedians and rappers is like rappers is very different. I've found like I had one time on the show where I had like an actual street rapper on. I remember how awkward it was. Then that's when I realized like probably exactly what you're describing. Like the moment when I realized, oh, I don't belong
in the space. Yeah, like that's you can't be a rapper. Don't mean you can't release your music. But there's certain spaces that like just based on who you are, you don't belong.
Well, it's like if I had you right in front of me and I said, "Hey, what street are you from?" and he's like, "What'd you say?"
Yeah,
certain questions you don't ask those people.
Or you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know what the fuck I did? Like, that's always a great answer for street dudes. You know what I mean? I used to I used to manage my brother who's a rapper. He's in jail now. And I used to try to get him on interviews and shit like that. And like, I got him on a podcast and like. Or I took him to a networking event where with all these other rappers, like I'm like, hey, these are some non-street nigga rappers that are doing big things in the local Chicago rap scene.
Yeah.
I would love for you to connect with them, and maybe something could happen. There was a dope rapper, shout out to Matt Muse. I introduced my brother to him, and my brother introduced himself in the most like standoffish street nigga way possible. My brother had like a little sling bag with a gun in it. He was holding his bag. Matt Muse was just like, "What's your name, bro? It's nice to meet you." And my brother just gave his street name, like didn't even give his rap name.
Cyclops.
Gave his street name. He was like, "Oh, you can just call me Pac-Man, bro." Like his rap name was High City Pac-Man. And like it was like. And like, but he didn't even shake the dude's hand. He was just like, "Yeah, you can just call me Pac-Man, bro," and walked off. I'm like, nigga, this guy's actually doing big things in hip hop right now in the local scene. He might be someone you want to link up with, And,
yeah.
It's just funny though, but like, yeah, I don't even know how I even got on this nigga ass comedy. Oh yeah, my mom.
Crack 'em up comedy.
Yeah, I was telling her about it, and like. I was just like, "Mom, this was just a nigga ass show," and my mom like laughed and was like, "Ha ha ha, niggers." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" Like, and it's like that's not the first time she's swapped out nigga with nigger, and I'm like,
good comedic timing, Mom, but don't do that one again.
and I'm like, "Mom, are you racist?" And I just didn't know. Like, are you a Clayton Bixby ass bitch? Like
Samuel L. Jackson and
Django. Yeah, you didn't fucking tell me. Like, how long are you gonna tell me you were a racist? Like, the fuck.
Oh, that's so funny.
No, bro.
So cold, Mom. I mean, the delivery really is top notch, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
do you think you got any of your comedic talents from your mother?
Hell no. My mom is like. My mom is as funny as like a plank of wood, bro.
Really?
Like, my mom is not
She's not
like
funny.
She's not like
she's like an unintentionally funny type of
she's
funny.
like, oh, everybody's laughing. What like, oh, what did I do? You know what I mean? Like she's like that oblivious. Like sometimes she'd be saying wild shit, and you're like, it's funny. You're like, that's hilarious, but it's not a joke. It's just like her genuine reaction to something, and you're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even realize it's funny. Like, you know what I mean? So I would say, I don't know. I think, I don't know. I think maybe my funny came from my dad. Maybe.
Ah, you think so?
My dad was a free-spirited type of dude. Like he was like, my dad was a crackhead. He wasn't like, I have jokes about him, but like, yeah, my dad smoked crack like my whole childhood.
I like how you said it the politically correct way and then the truth.
Yeah,
my dad was a free spirit. He was a crackhead.
Yeah, but he was a free spirit though. Like he was a fun dude. You know what I mean? Like my dad was like a Rastafarian type of guy.
Absolutely,
where he loved reggae music. He loved to dance. He loved to party. Like he loved to hang out. You know what I mean? But like. The nigga smoked crack, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he also had a stint of like trying to be the funny guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
But
like,
never a comedian.
He never was a
funny.
comedian. He was just like the funny guy in a group of people, but mainly because he just be doing dumb shit. Like, like my dad didn't have any jokes. He would just like make voices. He would just do voices.
I feel like a lot of people are like that, where they're funny, but they're not like comedians.
Yeah.
Like comedians will even tell you, like they have friends that are so funny, but they're not.
but because there's a difference.
Yeah.
Like you can be, and like you can, comedy is a skill.
Yeah, it's basically so how I look at it is like there's talking in a conversation and being funny, which is one thing, and then there's the craft of stand-up comedy being applied to such a thing.
Exactly. Like
that's kind of what it is.
Exactly, and like I said, since it's something you learn to do, like you learn
the craft.
You learn the craft of writing jokes and turning something into being funny. It's so it helps that you are the funniest person in your little friend group.
Yeah, that's the beginning. That's the first step.
But that doesn't automatically mean you're ready for comedy. But it doesn't mean that you can't ever be ready either. You know what I mean? And I think that's something that's and I think that's what it was for me.
It's all context, because I think like if we're just sitting here talking with each other, the context is that anything can happen. This is just a chill time, whatever, and that context is completely carefree. There's nothing there. Whereas if I'm the person on stage and I am now here to make you laugh, the context is so entirely different.
Completely different. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like you can't be like, hey, remember the first time? Y'all remember the first time you jerked off? Like you know, like the shit that you kind
But
of
if
like.
I said that to you right now, it'd be awesome.
Yeah,
you'd be like, yes, I do.
I do actually. Yeah, but if you know, like. You know, it's just like finding that balance, you know, like that's something that like, you know, you actively work towards. Because I would never say like when I was in, you know, you hear a lot of older comedians, they'll be like, you know, I was class clown in 1994 and, you know, I was always funny. I was always the funniest thing in my friend group. In a lot of cases, I was not the funniest thing in the friend group. I really kind of found my funny when I was an adult, like a young adult, like 18. And I was just... Because I was always known for saying wild shit, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I could, the wildest thing I could think about saying was, one thing that I said, and it was my freshman year of high school. I sat at a table full of girls, and and it was near Halloween, and I went to Von Steuben High School, and I had an idea for a character. I just made it up on the spot, and the character was Dr. Molester. And it was literally but it was the funniest thing at the moment. And then coincidentally, I
like it.
Yeah, and it's very like on the nose, like you know what I mean. Like it's not like anything.
That'd be a good heel in professional wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
Dr. Molester. Everybody would boo him. No face turn for Dr. Molester.
No matter what, he's a heel forever. You know what I mean? Like he's here to eat your children, type of thing.
Dr.
You know?
Protector. He changes his name.
Exactly. And then I ended up like showing up at like the Halloween dance in like a dirty nurse's outfit, and it was like, and all these people that knew about Dr. Molester saw me, and they're like, "Hey, Dr. Molester," and I'm like, "Oh, okay," like you know what I mean, like, and it was like little things like that.
That sense of humor.
That kind of like added up, you know what I mean, and like. Yeah, I was just like, I've always been filterless, you know, like, and like, that's why my LLC is called Black and Filterless, because it's like, one, I'm black, two, people have always told me, like, damn, nigga, you just say anything, and I'm like, it's not anything, it's like, I'm calculated, I just be saying dumb shit, you know what I mean, like, I sometimes like to sell the image that I'm a dumb nigga, you know what I mean? Like,
well, and that's, I mean, another, like, one of those major tenets of comedy, right, is to always play the fool and like not to portray yourself as too smart. Like you don't want to seem too like an audience doesn't even like that.
Yeah, you don't want to seem like you're talking. You don't want to seem like you're lecturing people. Because you know if you come off too smart, like you know a comedy show can quickly turn into a lecture.
Yeah,
you know
the ultimate Jedi of that I would say too is Norm Macdonald. He's like. Have you watched a lot of him?
No, I don't.
Oh, he's usually. You know what's funny? You're probably the first person I can think of that I brought up Norm Macdonald, like a comedian. I brought him up, and they didn't know. So you have a whole treasure trove to dive into, dude. People love him.
I know who Norm Macdonald is.
He's like, I would say modern Mount Rushmore. He's on it, like that big. Just because
I know who he is, bro. Like
I just mean if you watch him, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. Because comics really respect him, just because he's so good at. His personality comes off as so fluid, and that's who he is, but also you can tell he's playing into this bit 24/7. I mean, like some of his most viral moments are him, like, I think it was something about Easter, and then he pretends he's finding out about Hitler, and he's like, "Oh, interesting looking duck," you know.
Yeah.
Just like the way that he says certain shit what makes him so fun. You can't even repeat his jokes and make them funny.
Yeah,
and again, that's a testament to personality and comedy. He's one of those people you could really study the craft through watching him perform.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces. It's just not my cup of tea.
Oh, you don't like him?
No, I'm not a fan. You know what I mean? Like it's not funny to me.
Really?
You know what I mean? And that's the beauty of comedy.
Yeah,
that's the beauty of comedy. I don't need to find him funny.
I'm surprised.
You know what I mean? But like, I mean, he's not super relatable to a young black kid from Chicago. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And like, you know, so it's like. I never try to tell myself as like a super urban, super hip kind of like black comedian. I don't do that. But like, yeah, for me, Mark Normand doesn't scratch any itches for me. I think Theo Von.
Oh, not Mark Normand. I was talking about. Did I say Mark Normand?
You said Mark Normand. Yeah.
Did I really?
You did.
Am I crazy? I thought I said Norm Macdonald. Did I say Norm Macdonald?
I don't like Norm Macdonald either.
Oh,
I
said Norm Macdonald, but you lumped up the two,
Yeah,
and you don't like
same.
Mark Norman either.
I don't like either of them.
That's funny. Because I was like, did I say Mark Norman?
I like Norm.
I don't blame you for not liking Mark Norman. A lot of people actually don't like him. I
like Norm Macdonald as a
Mark Norman
comedic-
has a very before you say that, I'll say Mark Norman has a very structured thing that he does, and I think a lot of comics they don't like his structure. I think that's where a lot of it lies. They don't like the way he's kind of Anthony Jeselnik falls into that, where he's become so predictable in the structure. But you were just about to say,
yeah,
sorry.
like I like Norm Macdonald as a comedic actor, and I like I like his idea. Like he genuinely is on stage, like saying the shit that he thinks is funny.
Right.
You know, like I know Norm Macdonald was like one of those big ones where it's like, haha, that's funny to me.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like that's cool or whatever, but like I don't, you know,
You don't relate to that.
I mean, I do relate to that, but at the end of the day, you know, like I don't know, like I feel like you need to be there. You are there to perform. You're there to entertain.
Yeah.
So like you have to acknowledge that sometimes jokes don't work, and you can like it. Like I have a ton of material where I'm like, I love this stuff, but I'm like when I try to tell these, like I have a story that I haven't done in a long time. I used to do it a lot it was like one of my first big stories when I started doing stand up, and it was about like my stepdaughter making me look like a pedophile in front of my wife's family.
Okay.
And it's like, but it doesn't hit. Like, you know, it only hits in very niche rooms, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's like, I just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you don't want to sacrifice laughs for quote unquote authenticity. Because, you know, because then it's just like, because, you know, we are doing comedy because we want this to be our job.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Norm Macdonald somehow was able to get famous off of doing comedy in a way where, like, it doesn't matter if people aren't laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and like, I just don't agree with that personally. Personally, I think, you know, your goal is to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And your goal is
So
to,
I would ask. Well, go ahead.
yeah, and I would say the most important thing is figuring out what works and what doesn't work. You know
right.
what I mean?
Well, I
Like,
was about to say. So, like, then what would you say about the whole like? Because I think it all starts with Andy Kaufman. I think if you were to trace it all back to where it all begins, that entire branch of comedy begins with somebody like Andy Kaufman being so against the grain of what comedy was before him. Like, how do you feel about the legacy of Andy Kaufman? Because I think it all stems from him.
I think so too, and I think there's nothing wrong with like trying to go against the grain. Like, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
But I think at some point you do still have to acknowledge that you are. Like, let's see. So how can I give a good analogy for this? So,
well, if you're like an entertainer, you want to entertain. Is it like that?
No. I'm trying to think about another way to describe it. So it's like, for one, there is. So like, let's say you're trying to dig a well, right?
Okay.
And you know the well. There's groundwater deep underneath the ground. We may all be digging in different areas, but eventually, if we're digging properly, we will reach that groundwater. That's all the same. Like, that's all kind of like the same lane.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you are doing this aspect right now because one day you want to be performing in places as a paid established rapper. You may want to be signed. You may want to be doing that. So that's why you're making these connections now.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But in general, your whole goal is to be a famous rapper.
Yeah.
A famous established rapper, probably. I'd imagine.
I would actually say, honestly, the podcast is probably a bigger goal than
Okay,
the
so
music.
exactly,
I think they just go in tandem.
In tandem. So you
I mean,
wanna have
I
a-
want people to hear the music, but the podcast is
You
its
want to have a
own
successful
beautiful
podcast.
thing. Yeah.
So exactly. So that's why like you may add things like prank calls and like
Yeah, right.
like the fact that you're a rapper interviewing comedians, like that little niche.
Yeah.
But in general, your goal is to get to a successful like podcast with a viewership and potentially sponsors.
And in this metaphor, that's the water at the bottom.
Yeah, in this metaphor, that's the groundwater that you're trying to reach while you're digging your well.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I think there's nothing wrong with taking another angle,
But it's counterintuitive. You're not digging if you're doing the other thing.
No, it's not that necessarily. I'm not saying it's counterintuitive. I'm just saying you do have to realize eventually you are going to get to that groundwater, and sometimes your niche thing can't be as niche anymore because then you'll start isolating people. And this can go full circle back to what we were talking about before we started recording, where Roast Battle Chicago and Roast Battle League is amazing,
right?
But you can very easily be pigeonholed as a roast battle comedian, and now you drop your hard special that you've worked 7 years to build, and nobody cares about it.
So this is why I would say like Andy Kaufman really sticks out because he's the beginning of it all. But the genius of Andy Kaufman is he was subversive in a way that was truly subversive. You didn't know what he was going to do next.
For sure.
He would come out and do something else that was the complete actually the opposite of what you expected. Not subversive where it's like it's a comic coming out and just being funny and subversive in the way I expect him to be. That's his personality. It's like he would go out and do sword swallowing on a late night show just because, and then do like Himalayan throat singing all of a sudden, or Tibetan throat singing. It's crazy. Himalayan pink salt.
It is crazy, but you know. It's like,
but I just say that to say like that is. I try to think. When it comes to music or when it comes to people saying like boxing themselves in, it's like, so then it is then up to you to get yourself out of that box. Like that's why as a comedian you should put yourself and try different types of comedy. That's why we should always strive to not put ourselves in a box. Like if I'm writing a song, I'm not writing a song that's going to be the same as the last song I wrote or the last 5 songs I wrote. It's always whatever this song is meant to be right here, right now, and that turns into something organically rather than putting yourself in a box from the start. I think that's where people fuck up, is they just try to be something, and then you stop doing the creative thing, and then, you know, I think like one thing that you probably see a lot more from I don't know how you would word it, like, if you don't like that type of comedy, the opposite type of comedy would be more like it's like not a vibe, but like if people are just more like being more relatable, just talking about experience and being casual. I like that. I can see how that would translate a lot more. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. It's just a whole different atmosphere.
It's a whole different atmosphere. Like, I'm not about the gimmicks, you know. Like that's what I like to say. Like, someone who's one of my favorite comedians now is Ali Sadiq. Like, he's probably my number one.
Well, and I said it to say it's like raw. You're getting something raw where it's someone just being themselves. Is that how he is?
Yes, that's him. Like, all his material at this point is like stories that he's telling stories about his life, stories about interactions with his family, interactions with the world. It's all about him. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's not like. And you know, it's all about how he reacts to these things, and that's where the funny is. Right. You know, like I like taking, you know, like I've always been a huge fan of King of the Hill, and that's because
damn it, Bobby.
Yeah, exactly. That's because King of the Hill is basically takes the mundane situations and makes them funny. Yeah. And I think that there's a skill to that, and there's an art to that like is much more impressive than like, you know, like fabricating, you know, imaginary situations for the sake of a joke. You know what I mean? Like, I like the storytelling. I like the real life, like this is something that actually happened. Even if it's a little bit even there's aspects that are fabricated. For the most part, this is what happened. Like I mentioned my story about like my stepdaughter making me look like a pedophile in front of my wife's family. That's something that actually happened to me. You know, while we were playing Family Feud, you know, I was teasing my stepdaughter. But and my brother-in-law, and I called their team the little penis team, and I called my team the big penis team, and I'm teasing my stepdaughter like, haha little penis, and she looks at me and says, shut up big penis. You know what I mean? Like, and like that's not the punchline of the story, but like that's basically what happened. Yeah. And it's just like finding the reality, like the funny and what really happens around you. You know, making your experiences funny for other people is the beauty that I look for in comedy. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I'm not crazy about like super observational comedy. Like, regardless of what side it's from. Yeah. Like, I don't necessarily want to see your raw reaction to something that we've all seen. Right. Like, somebody who is I give a lot of respect to is Josh Johnson. Okay. He's from New Orleans, something like that. He kind of came up in the Chicago scene. His whole thing now is, for the most part, like, he's found his niche, and he's selling out shows, which is great, but he's not telling jokes anymore. He's not talking about his experiences. He's basically just reporting on live events, like releasing these 45-minute sets, which is dope, and people are laughing. People pay to see his reactions to these things. But to me, it's like he's gotten away from, you know, what I would like consider, you know, like a beautiful art of the, like, you know, a storytelling. And
how I look at that is it's like the dangers of success and getting popular off a certain thing, because that's why I said that before about like you want to challenge yourself and push yourself, because if you don't always stay in touch with that, you easily fall victim to such a situation where like people, they like when I talk about politics, that video got way more views than all my other stuff, so I'm just gonna keep doing that.
Now I gotta be the politics guy.
And then you lose touch with that other thing that you're actually really good at.
And sometimes, you know, it's like, and I think that's me being stubborn, because it's like you have to be, I also like to be flexible, but at the same time, you know, you want to do this thing, like, you know, like sometimes, you know, maybe, you know, sometimes like stand-up comedy isn't for everybody. That doesn't necessarily mean you're not meant to be, like, you can't be in the comedy space, but maybe sketch is for you, maybe improv is for you.
Yeah, because again, genres. There's so many genres of comedy.
Exactly, you know, so you can, you know, but some people, like, start off in improv and they go into stand up, and you're like, oh, you probably should have just stayed in improv.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Some people do stand up and then they go into improv and sketch, and you're like, hey, you're way better as a sketch comedian than you are as a fucking stand up comedian.
Yeah. Most people aren't an ace of all.
No, and most people try to like dibble and dabble in all of them, to get the overall experience, but you could tell sometimes, like, when people do it long enough, you could tell where they shine better. You know what I mean? Like, they shine brighter.
And again, that's why you should try different things.
And that's why you should try it. And I agree. And that's why you got to be flexible.
Yeah.
But, like, it's scary just to get, like, pigeonholed, because it happens in Hollywood all the time. When you see people, what's that one Hispanic dude that, like, he's always just, like, a gangbanger, like, in the movies. And I think he's always playing a character named Hector.
Oh, I'm not sure.
I forgot the guy's name. He's like a bald Hispanic guy from California. He's been in so many movies, but he's always just like the aggressive, angry Mexican dude. You know what I mean? Angry, like, street dude. And it's just like, it works for you, but at the same time, I know he doesn't want to be that. I know maybe at one point this nigga wants to be Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like now you can't be Batman if you're just an angry like street dude in every movie.
Yeah, typecasting.
Yeah, typecasting. It happens in comedy all the time.
Yeah, a comedy. Well, the problem with comedy is they're even told to address how you look. You're told to make jokes about how you look because the people are going to be thinking that. That's what people have said to me.
I think that's a very introductory thing.
Oh, you don't think that stays through? Like, you don't think why do you say that?
So, like, you see a lot of comedians, especially white comedians in the scene, who get on stage and the first thing they do is say, I know I look like X.
Ah, right.
And that it's a very, like, overdone trope that a lot of, like, comedians will do to try to, like, win over the audience. And I think there's just I think you need to kind of escape that box.
Ah, I see.
You know what I mean? Like, and because it's like, you know.
Yeah, I get it. It's cliche.
It's cliche. It's not necessarily cliche, but it's just like the amount of comedians that I have blank energy. There's too many of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like try to be a little bit more original.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, and maybe you were the first person to do one of those jokes, but now you see 10 other people doing it. Now I feel like it's your place as a comedian to be like, okay, I shouldn't be talking about this anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, unless you and like for all the comedians that talk about like fucking having like their online dating life, and it's like you hear all the comedians talk about it, and it's like all the same.
Yeah.
Like, man, doesn't dating suck?
Yeah.
Man, I was on Hinge the other day, and like I met this guy, or I met this girl, and this girl like expected me to pay for the dinner, and like, what? I'm not gonna pay for that. Obviously, that's not a joke, but like you see a lot of that.
Yeah.
And it's just like I just think the beauty in comedy is trying to stand out. Like, you need to be yourself. And like that might be your experiences, but you need to find a way to stand out from other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, me and my wife genuinely met on a dating app, but I don't have any jokes about being on Tinder or being on Hinge, or I don't have any of that shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any of those, like, oh man, I know what y'all thinking when I come up here. I look like Ice Cube, don't I? Like, people told me I look like Ice Cube my whole life. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't do none of that. Like,
right. Interesting.
Real quick, bro. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of an emergency.
Oh,
bro.
yeah.
Can we wrap it up a little bit? I'm sorry.
We got to wrap it up? That's fine.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro.
So, I mean, we got like a couple minutes real quick?
Yeah, just a few minutes.
So,
sorry, what
do we just say just now, if I can find like a good way to wrap that? What do we just say? The Tinder. The Tinder, talking about different things.
Just being authentic.
I think that with all of that, it's like, it's just about, I think if you know yourself and you trust yourself to have your own perspective, I think that's how life goes. I think it's all about just believing truly, like having a core belief that I do know best and I can, like, people are interested in hearing what I have to say, and then sticking through with that. Because one thing comedy will teach you more than anything else too is you are going to fail upwards constantly, yes. 24/7. Even you're an established comic, you're still failing upwards.
Yeah. Every show is not a banger.
Yes.
Honestly, most shows you just do okay. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And that's okay.
And that's okay.
You know what I mean?
Just heard yesterday the quote, I can't remember who said it, but someone said it to someone else, that when, it was Dave Chappelle who said it. He said that when they paid, who's the guy who did the motorcycle jumps, the crazy motorcycle jumps, the Evel Knievel. When they paid Evel Knievel to do those jumps, they paid him for the attempt, not for the successful jump.
Yes, exactly.
They're paying them to try, and that's what's going on.
Yeah, you go out there, do your best, and that's all you can do. You know what I mean? And like, just because sometimes you can have a good streak, and then every time you have a bad, sometimes you'll have a bad streak where you're a couple, you may have a few sets and none of them are great, but that doesn't mean anything. Just keep pushing, keep being great.
And that's
try to stand out.
That's our final lesson for the folks, because I always try to give them a final lesson at the very end. Stay great, stand out,
be yourself.
Be yourself.
That's most important. Don't try to be someone who you think they want you to be. Be you, because at the end of the day, when you develop a fan base in this shit, it will be based off of the fact that you are authentic to who you are.
Absolutely, dude.
And I don't know, fucking.
Oh, I got a way to end it.
Okay, go ahead.
Were you gonna do a little clap, like an actual outro thing?
I got you. Yeah.
I got you.
Let's do it.
And with all that being, and social medias, where do they find you?
At Sensei Millie on social media. Melvin Stewart Comedy. You can check out my website, melvinstewartcomedy.com, for upcoming shows and stuff like that. We're making moves. Like I said, we got headlining show in July, St. Louis in August. We making moves.
Hell yeah! How do you spell that Instagram?
Oh, SENSEIMILLY.
Boom! And with all that being said, folks, Ruse Radio, clocking out.
Double down, competition couldn't help him to rock. Missed the whole time, holy fell through the flock. That's an ordinary miracle, wealth to the block. It's a balance in the character that's calm and collect. It's a